Padbangers.com, and today I want to show you my favorite tips, tools and tricks for the Mac. So let's go! Alright, so here's what we're doing. I split this video up into 5 sections. One is backup and security, one is system tools, we got audio tools, we got web tools, and we got graphics tools. Everything is meant to give you a faster workflow and a more comfortable way to use your Mac. These tools are either free or a few of them are commercial, but I get you covered. For all the commercial software I show you in this video, I will give you free licenses, so make sure you read the description of the video. I put all the information there how you get the free licenses. Now the first tool I want to talk about might seem a little obvious for some of you guys, but you wouldn't believe how many people don't know Time Machine exists on the Mac. And what is Time Machine? Time Machine is hands down the best backup solution on the market, and you got it free with your Mac. So how you can use it: you need a large empty external drive, you plug it to your computer, you start Time Machine and let it format the drive for you, and you keep it running with the computer, and from that time you don't have to worry about backups anymore. It will do a full system backup as well as incremental backups every hour, so it saves all your changes. So let's say you deleted a folder of samples by accident a few weeks ago and you just realized it now. All you need to do is fire up Time Machine, go to your samples folder, and then on the right side you got this timeline, and you can browse through all the different backups Time Machine did for you. So let's say I want to go back to October 1st of October 2015. I click on that, it brings me back to the date, and this is how my folder looked like at this date. So I can grab the files, click restore, and it brings all the files back to my Finder. Of course I got these files at the moment, so I choose keep originals. You can also, if you have multiple versions of files, you can keep both files, or you can replace the newer files with the older ones. I keep my original files, and that's it. So make sure you use Time Machine. It's free, it's a great tool. All you need is a large external hard drive for the backups. You can also restore your system completely to a previous date, so it's really one of the most essential tools on the Mac you can have. The second tool I want to show you guys is called Forever Save 2, and Forever Save is a great addition to Time Machine, because with Forever Save you can save multiple versions of a file. So let's say you're working on a song for a client, and maybe the client says, I like that version we had 5 days ago much better than this now. So if you didn't save that copy, you're screwed. But Forever Save takes care of that for you. So what you can do is you can add the applications you want to watch in the app with that little plus sign right here. And let's say I have Studio One right here, and here are some files I worked on, and as you can see, when I click on the file, you see there are now 5 versions available. And Forever Save works in the background of your computer. After 10 minutes it prompts you to save your project, and from that on, every 5 minutes it will automatically save the file for you. And it's not only saving the file, it will create a new file of the project. Alright, now the last tool for security is a password protected folder on your Mac. And this can be really handy, for example, if you want to store your lyrics or your client data in a safe place that nobody can sneak to when they're on your computer. And you can create this with onboard tools. You just need to open up Disk Utilities. You go to File, Create New Image. You give it a name. For example, I call this Important Data. Down here in the name, you call this also Important Data. Don't worry about the file size. We want to make this a sparse image that grows with the amount of files that are stored to it. So I choose here sparse image, and for my protection I choose 256-bit AES protection. Now prompts me to enter a password, so you choose your save password here, and now I just click save. and now it's created and already mounted. So when we go to the Finder, We got it right here. And now we can just drag and drop files to that folder. So let's say I want to store all my lyrics here in that folder. I just copy them or move them to that folder, unmount the folder from the Finder, and now they're super safe and protected. If I want to come back to it and edit the folder, I just double click it, I enter my password, and I have access. And since this is a sparse image, it really works like a regular folder. You can always add files or remove files from it. And you can also throw this secured file to your Dropbox folder so you have access from multiple computers to it. Really handy. All right, let's move on to the system tools. The first tool I want to talk about is called Total Finder. Total Finder is a great addition to the normal Finder. It brings some extra features. Now there's a little downside with the latest version of OSX 10.11 El Capitan. Apple introduced new security mechanisms, so Total Finder won't work without disabling these new security features. I don't tell you to disable the security reasons just for a little bit better workflow. Think about yourself if it's worth to you. For me personally, I think it's worth it. I prefer the way Finder works now so much better that I take the risk of less security at this point. I hope Apple will introduce a new way developers can access these parts of the system so they can still develop their tools without disabling the security features, but at this time it's just not possible. If you're on Mavericks or Yosemite or Line or whatever, it will work just right out of the box. Now let's go to Total Finder. What is it? Total Finder brings a few new features to the Finder. For example, this feature where it hovers the Finder with a keyboard shortcut. So let's say I'm here in Ableton Live and I want to throw in some samples. I just click my hotkey, I browse to my folders and drag it in. Boom, that's it. What you just saw is it has multiple tabs here, just like the regular Finder. But the cool thing is you can have like a double panel. If you double click on a tab, it will combine it with the next tab, and then you have two Finders at once, and you can move files from one side to the other, which is really comfortable if you have to copy and move files on your hard disk. It really saves a lot of time. You can double click again to come back to the single view. Really comfortable. You also can have colored icons in the sidebar. That's just a little feature, but I prefer it over the gray icons in OSX 10.11. So that's a really comfortable tool and really speeds up the workflow. Right, next thing I want to talk about is called CleanMyMac. And I know a lot of people tell you don't use any system tools, system cleaners like that, because OS X will take care of itself. And I can tell you from my experience, it will not. In my iMac, I have the 256 gigabyte SSD, so it's not a lot of space. I really was at the point where I only had like 15 gigabytes left. So I was thinking, what am I gonna do? Do I really gonna upgrade the SSD? Will I bring it to a special shop so they will open up the iMac for me and replace it with a bigger SSD? And as you know, if I do this, first of all, it will be really expensive to open it up and replace it. And then if I open it up and replace it, I want to do it with a 1 terabyte SSD because otherwise it's just worthless. I don't want to do it in 6 months again. And 1 terabyte SSDs are really expensive too. But then a friend of mine told me, you should check out CleanMyMac because probably there's just a bunch of junk on your computer. And really, I fired up CleanMyMac. This is how it looks like. And you just click scan and it scans all your files. It found about 72 gigabytes of cache files, of temporary video files from Adobe Premiere, iTunes, cache files, photo garbage, all that crap. This was all junk, and you can always control here what is going to be deleted. You can always double check so you make sure it's not deleting anything you really need. And it was all junk. So really CleanMyMac saved me a lot of money. I'm using it since version 2, and now I'm on version 3, and it really is a great addition, and so far it never let me down. So if you can see now, I got 84 gigabytes of content in my trash can, so this saves a lot of stuff. Got almost 1 gigabyte in my system junk folder. So now you can go back at every time and you can see all the details, what it's going to delete. In my opinion, it's really secure. And also what's really, really good here is you have a deinstallation tool. Let's say you want to delete an app, for example, Google Chrome. You see, it's not only deleting the app, it will delete all the system files and all the junk that is stored in different folders. It will delete all this with it. And when you see now here, there are 2 more folders for cache and application support. These are 500 megabytes. And if you only delete the app from your applications folder, you have 500 megabytes of junk still on your hard disk. So yeah, in my opinion, CleanMyMac is really, really worth the money. And the last tool for the system tools is Better Touch tool. I already made a video about this. This is just the most essential tool for speeding up my workflow. It allows you to create your own gestures for the Magic Trackpad, for the Magic Mouse. It allows you to create your own custom hotkeys, even for parts that are not accessible otherwise. You can do this per application or global. So here, for example, I have this 2-finger swipe up gesture that triggers my Total Finder hotkey. So I can just swipe on the mouse and fade in and out my Finder window. And it also allows you to use, if you have the large wired keyboard from Apple, it allows you to map hotkeys F13 to F19, which are normally not accessible in any other application. Really, really great tool. Also, it also comes with a snapping tool. So what's really great, so let's say I have my browser window here, and you can snap these to different sizes, just like in the new OSX, but without going to full screen mode. You're still in the regular view, so this is really, really comfortable. Yeah, Better Touch tool, definitely one of the must-have apps on every Mac. Now let's talk really quick over 3 web tools I use very often. One is Pocket. How often you search Facebook and you read and you find cool articles, but you don't have time to read it, and then when you're back home you just forgot what it's about. So this with Pocket, this won't happen anymore. It works in all your browsers, on all your smartphones, on all your tablets. The app is available everywhere. So let's say I'm on Facebook and I find this really cool article here, and I open it up and say I want to read this later, but I don't have time right now. So all I need to do is just I click on Pocket and my site is safe. And then in Pocket you will find all the stuff you saved before. You can also tag the stuff so you can filter it later on. For example, if you want to have some freebies or stuff you want to definitely do today, you can give it a tag for read today or whatever. Really, really great tool. And again, you can access it from all your stuff. Now, the second tool I use all the time to get a little bit organized is called Feedly. And Feedly is like a feed reader for all my favorite websites. Every blog, every site that has an RSS feed can be added to Feedly. So I can quickly browse through all my blogs with a single click and don't have to open up all the different URLs separately. And this makes sure I'm not missing any important information. Feedly is also available for every browser, and also it's just web-based. It's feedly.com, you register and you're good to go. And it's also available on your mobile devices. And the last thing I'm going to show you is called Pushbullet. And Pushbullet is a push service that enables you to send files quickly from your browser to your mobile phone or vice versa. So let's say you have recorded a quick note or a quick melody or a quick idea in your audio recorder on your smartphone, so you don't have to plug it into your computer. You know how long it can take. With Pushbullet, you just go to the file, you share it with Pushbullet, and it will show up right here in your in your timeline, and you can see here I send some pictures right here. So yeah, really great and fast tool to send files from your computer. Kind of like AirDrop, but you don't need Bluetooth for it. It's a web-based service. And you also can send these files to other people if you have their contact data from Pushbullet. So let's move on to the audio stuff. The first thing I want to show you, which I still use on a daily basis, is a script I wrote a few years ago. If you watch my videos, you already know about this. It's called Audio Converter, and it's a service that runs on a watched folder. And it gives you the possibility, if you have a file here and you have Machine or Ableton Live where you don't have MP3 export, you just have to export the WAV file into that folder. And I go here to Audio Converter. As soon as a WAV file hits that folder, a script in the background converts it into a high quality MP3 file, deletes the WAV file, and you're good to go. So as you can see, here's the MP3 file just created from that script. So if you need that, go to padbangers.com or check the description of the video. I will put a link in there. The next thing is for all the guys that hate iTunes, and I hate iTunes so much, I can't tell you. I think it's super slow and it's just not comfortable. If I want to play back just an MP3 file, I don't want to use iTunes for that. It puts files in my libraries and stuff. Oh, I just hate it. So a very nice alternative for that is called Vox. The Vox player, it's really tiny player with some nice features like SoundCloud player. And you also can add playlists, and it will give you cover information if you have a file right there. But it's super fast. It will give you information on the file, what quality it is, and it's for free, and it's super sleek and fast. And my last tip for the audio part here is if you want to quickly switch your audio device, let's say from the internal speaker of the iMac to your audio interface or stuff like that, you don't have to go to the settings. All you need to do is you go to your menu bar, you hold down the Alt key, and you click on the volume icon, and you get a list of all available devices, so you can quickly change to your interface without going into any system settings and change things up there. Alright, last but not least, a quick tip for a really good graphics tool. A lot of people ask me, I want to do my own CD cover, I want to do Facebook graphics, I want to do SoundCloud artwork, what should I use for it? And I use Adobe Photoshop and all the other Creative Cloud products from Adobe, but of course this is really expensive. And there's a new player on the market, and these guys are doing it damn right. It's called Affinity Photo. It's about $50 and it opens up Photoshop files. It has nearly the same amount of features, so all the important stuff from Photoshop is there. The handling is really intuitive, and you got all your layers, you got a bunch of effects, you got masks, you got layers, so it's really on a professional level for a fraction of the price of Adobe Photoshop. So I downloaded the trial here and I give it a try, and it feels almost like Photoshop. It feels way more Photoshop like other tools like GIMP. This tool here, it feels fantastic. So they did an awesome job, and these guys also have a vector-based tool. So if you want to create logos, there's also stuff for that. And I really hope they're going to make a video editor too in the future, because if they will keep it the same way they translated Photoshop into their world, they did an excellent job, really. So if you're looking for a very powerful, inexpensive graphics tool, Affinity Photo is your best friend. Alright, that's it. Really long video this time. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Find some tools. Again, check the video description to see how you can win the free licenses. I hope to see you guys next time. Peace out.